How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today we've got a really nice one for you guys, and that is in the form of the two brand new tanks that came into World of Tanks console. So we've got the M48A2 120mm. That's the tier 10 from the season pass. I've just recently got it from completing it after the first week, or within the first week. I've been playing a fair amount to get it, but you know, it's not that hard. We've also got a gameplay of the Object 777, and we're going to kind of look at them and see how they kind of play in game. So first things first is what's good about this tank, and it's basically that its gun handling and its gun stats are fantastic, and you can definitely expect to be able to hit your shots with this tank. It's not reliant on RNG or anything like that, which some tanks, you know, like for example, like the KV2 kind of relies on a bit of RNG as to whether you're going to hit. This tank is pretty much a laser, so you don't have to worry about that. On a map like this, it's pretty nice, although we do tend to lose crew members very easily. And where you can use ridgelines on this tank is pretty much where you need to put it. And yeah, the gun depression, I believe it's like 12 degrees of gun depression, because I was so surprised when I was in game that you can use ridge lines and it comes up so much more than where you think it's going to be. This standard B, not entirely sure he knew what he was doing there as he pulls out side on in front of a load of tanks. I think the YOLO train over here, in the form of the enemy team, really gave us a decent game, and since we were the first one forward, we did get a little bit of spotting damage, not loads, but enough to make our game a little bit better. So we're just trying to spot anyone that's crossing over the middle there, and you know, with a tank like this where it's really new and not that many people know about what the weak points are and what's good and bad about the tank, means you can kind of take advantage of it quite well. And since we know the weak spots of all of the tanks we're going to be coming up against, and since we're playing this, then you know, we know exactly what you need. This tank has absolutely no armour. It is a weak boy. You're not going to have to fire premium at this tank. It really doesn't have anything. Even the turret is pretty weak, and you can reliably pen it with pretty much every tank in the game that it can meet anyway. So far we've managed to do actually a decent amount of damage already, although the indicator is blocking to see how much exactly we've done, but it is approximately 2,900. We realise we bounce off the E4 here, which is annoying, because we did aim for his cupola. We go for the tracking shot, but we actually pen him, which isn't necessarily too bad of a thing. And then we put one in there. We know that the enemy E4 is coming, and we just make a little bit of a twist and move, and then he misses us, which is fantastic. And we're kind of focused on this AMX 50-120, trying to make him bounce, but you know, that thing is just not going to bounce off us. Now that he's emptied his clip, he's just a sitting duck, and we're going to track and pen him there. And yeah, he's not going to have a fun game. So this is the positions you want to be in. You want to be like a ridgeline warrior. You don't want to necessarily be taking the hits, but you do want to be the one pushing out the damage early on and trying to get some tracking assistance from your teammates. We put one more into the Action X as he tries to run, with the mobility of this tank, which is fantastic, means that you don't have to kind of worry about positioning yourself necessarily at a bad point at the start of the game, because you do have the mobility to move away and actually put yourself in a different place, which isn't necessarily true for some of the other mediums. I find with the Action X and stuff like that it's not necessarily the most agile and manoeuvrable tank out there. But there we go. This tank is kind of a short showcase, really. It's nothing an amazing game, you know, 5k damage pretty much, and 1,000 assist, and you know, 1,500 base XP is nothing to kind of sniff at, but it's not a game that I'd necessarily feature unless I had to push out like the content to try and showcase this tank in game. Now we're going to move over to the other tank, which is the Object 777, and I just wanted to show you some more gameplay of these two tanks and the kind of playstyle you need to be using. So we'll hop over to that gameplay right now. So the next gameplay is in the Object 777 version 2, the tier 9. This is, it's a very strong heavy tank really. It's basically a T10 but kind of an upgraded version. The gun handling's slightly worse I believe, but with all of the accuracy buffs and stuff that they gave us in update 6.0, pretty much any tank can become super accurate no matter what it is. Even like things like the KV2 aren't even bad on the move anymore necessarily. So yeah, with all of the right perks and equipment, then you can make this thing a god. So you want things like loading time and run and gun, stuff like that, where you can fire on the move, just to make sure that you're hitting your shots basically. So in a tank like this, where you've got armour and you can kind of make your turret armour and get into position where hold down you're going to be really strong, then I'm going to definitely come over to this side on this map. We've got quite a bit of support, so we're not going to necessarily get overrun by a load of tanks if a lot of their team have come over here. So we're going to be able to actually, keep this flank fairly alright at the minute. We do get penned there by the enemy tank, which is actually quite lucky considering we're quite a strong turreted tank. He must have hit us a hole really quickly there. I didn't exactly see where he hit, but I'm pretty sure it's probably there. At this point I'm trying to snipe the 75 cupola, whereas in hindsight, if I thought about it, I would have just swapped to heat rounds with 340 pen and just ploughed them straight through the top of his turret every single time. Yeah, not a problem really, the E75, especially when you got that 340 heat pen. It's pretty much like TD's kind of pen. The 268 has 390 pen, you're not that far off. So yeah, we put ourselves in a position like this. We are platooned up with two other platoon mates here, but they're not in this kind of area. They're one of them's in artillery and the other one's in the middle and in the concept 1B. And you want to use this tank kind of like a really aggressive medium. It's not got the lower kind of, the hull armour that you can necessarily just sit out in the open, because you do have weak spots, and that's like the lower plate is fairly weak, and if tanks are above you, you pretty much don't have any hull armour. We try and snipe the 75 cupola there again. Yet again, I should have just loaded heat and fired it through the front of his turret. But yeah, in a place like this, which is actually really good for this tank, is just that you hold down, and they're going to struggle, especially if you angle. Getting a bit frustrated about the lag there. As you can see, in game was lagging quite a bit, so it was nice that we actually managed to have an alright game, considering that. Now, at the moment, I'm not feeling particularly happy about this. We do have our platoon mate actually move up, which kind of distracts the enemy, and they turn their turrets towards them, which is something you should never do. Not really, anyway. And we miss with our rubbish aim there. I know, obviously, I should have hit that one, really. But yeah, this is when I believe we load heat and just go straight through the front of him. Actually, no, this is when we load heat. So we managed to pen him through with AP, but you'll see in a second that the turret armour of the E75 has nothing when you load heat. So yeah, we put one more into him. We've done a decent amount of damage so far. Nothing particularly great though. So that's where you need to push in these games, really make use of this this tank, and it's basically a better T10 in my opinion. You got the mobility to really push forward and deal some damage in the games where your team is steamrolling, which seems to be happening all of the time recently. I've had games 15-0 and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous, and I don't know what's happened recently, but it's been really bad, and yeah, I'm just hoping that that's not the case forever. I'm hoping some of the guides that I make might stop people just YOLOing, because it's so frustrating that half the enemy team dies in 2 minutes, or sometimes even less. It's like, I don't get it. It's like I wouldn't be able to throw myself away that quickly. Usually, so I don't know what our team or the enemy team's doing, and it's really annoying because half the time it's actually impacting your game because you're not actually able to get that damage. So like, yeah, I might be on full health, I might not, and I might be on 3k damage, but when all of the enemy team's dead or the whole of your team's dead, like, there's nothing you could do against 14 tanks or whatever. So yes, it's kind of frustrating. Here you see we do get hit there, quite a meaty shot actually, and then we bounce another shot. I'm not sure if it was the Leopard PTA, but he does get spotted, and we see that we can shoot him here. We miss him there, and it's just our aim being a bit off today. Could have ended up with a bit more damage, but we do manage to actually hit him in a minute. As you can see, leading that shot, just so that he drives into it. So these tanks, what do I think about them? Do I think that they're actually good in game? Then yeah, I do. I haven't had particularly fantastic games in this tank, just because I think I've been so used to playing light tanks that playing a heavy tank has really kind of impacted my playstyle. I'm getting a bit frustrated that I have to sit back a little bit more and go into positions where you're just brawling on a corner, etc. Which is not my playstyle really. I much prefer mediums and stuff where you can actually deal damage, and then move flanks and different things and be a bit more adaptive in the gameplay. And also, if your team steamrolls, be actually on the ones pushing out that last bit of damage rather than just slowly trundling my way to an inevitable win where I don't do any more damage. And yeah, that's just been the feature of this game recently. Kind of been annoying. It's limited quite a bit in this game, and you'll find that that tends to happen all the time, and I don't know why. I think the player base is kind of maybe newer, and all of these ops that are giving players tier 9 and tier 10 and tier 8 tanks for free after playing 300 games on the game, it's not necessarily good for the health of the game. And at the higher tiers you can see that when there's so many different battle lengths, so like most of them are like 4 minutes maybe, something like that, whereas they used to be like 6 or 7. They're really quick now, and that means you have to be super aggressive or you just don't do enough damage. That game was obviously 4k damage and quite a lot blocked. This tank's fairly good. You can use its armour. It definitely has actual armour in this game, which is something I haven't said in a long time with heavy tanks, etc. And yeah, you can definitely use it very well. And so yeah, I really enjoyed playing both of them. I do like the medium better than the heavy tank in terms of like a little comparison, although that's just because I prefer mediums. So I hope you guys found the video somewhat informative as to what you can expect when you actually pick up these tanks as part of the season pass. If you have actually bought it, it's only 2,000 gold for 2 premium tanks, a tier 9 and a tier 10, so I would 100% recommend purchasing it. If you are going to spend any money on the game, you do get 2, and along with that, loads of gold. You get your gold value back if you manage to get to season rank 100, and since I've already done it, and it's been like 5 days since it's been released, it's definitely not hard for you to do it in 6 weeks. So I think you need to keep an eye on that. Decide if it comes towards the sixth week and you haven't bought it and you've already completed the season, then pick it up because you'll get your gold back, what you paid for it, and also you get everything previous to what you've actually leveled up. So say if I got to level 100, I will actually get all of the level 100 like premium pass stuff if I play a game after buying it. So you're not going to miss out if you've already got halfway through the season and you haven't bought it. You'll actually get all of the stuff previous to it, so that's what you need to keep an eye out. Plus all of the challenges make it so much easier for you to complete it, and you do get that 2 times XP boost and also a 25% silver increase once you play. I think it's like 40 levels higher or something like that, 35 levels higher than what it is at the moment. So yeah, that's something that you need to keep in mind. You do get an extra commander XP boost as well to your commander's XP. Once you reach season rank, like virtual level, it's kind of like once you reach rank 100, the more points you earn, you actually get extra bonuses. So I think 90 points after, you get the 25% extra commander XP, and then when you get a further 50 points, I think you get then the next one, which is the 25% silver boost on every single game you play in. So yeah, if you guys want to grind out further on, then you can do that and you'll get rewarded for it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I've got a video on the bourrasque coming really soon. I got gifted it as part of a challenge, but I will make a separate video, and I hope you guys will enjoy that one too. If you've stayed till this point, please feel free to like the video if you have. Subscribe if you want to see some more content in that bourrasque video coming very soon, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.